Hey everybody, today we'll be reading Treasure Hunters chapter 17 and 18. Let's begin. Scuba lessons, said Constable Wilmot, taking off his sunglasses so we could all see both of his eyebrows hunching up like skeptical caterpillars. That's right, because she didn't see me trying to shush her without the police officer seeing me shush her. According to your brother, ma'am, you are currently on a deep-sea fishing expedition. Well, technically, we chase after fish in our scuba gear. We use spear guns, I said. Fascinating. No, mumbled. I'm gonna call him Wilmot for now. As her briskly read the email Beck had just handed him. This is from your father. That's right. He's back at dock waiting for us. Might I inquire as to why this email was sent from the same address it was sent to? Well, the internet. Actually, Dad finds it way easier to use only one email address because everything is synced through his clouds. He used to say stuff like concepts like from and to are kind of meaningless these days with cloud computing, don't you think? The constable folded up the email and handed it back to Beck. This email is obviously a forgery. He reached for his radio clip to his belt. Jenkins, we have 4 to escort back to Georgetown. We'll need to tow their boats into port as well. Excuse me? Storm had made her way back to the stern of the ship. I noticed the front of her shorts and shirt were soaping wet. Do you work for the United States of America? Storm pointed to the flag flying from the taffrail at the back of the boat. We are flying under the flag of the United States of America. But be that as it may, miss, you are currently in the jurisdiction of the Royal Cayman Islands Police. I don't think so, sir. While you were interrogating my brothers and sisters, it seems we've drifted into international waters. That's why Storm's clothes were soaked. She hoisted our anchor so we could coast farther out to the sea. As I am certain you know, Constable, Storm continued, oceans, seas, and waters outside national jurisdictions are referred to as high seas, or in Latin, mar liberum, meaning the free sea. You must be Stephanie, said the constable, looking slightly seasick. I prefer to be called Storm, the nickname given to me by my father, now deceased. I could see the dark gray thunderclouds boiling up in Storm's eye as she glared at Constable Wilmot. Yup, that's why Storm gave her the nickname. That's why Dad gave her the nickname. Officer, she said, sounding like a mama grizzly who's been to law school. According to the 1982 United States Convention on the Law of the Sea, one vessel is 12 nautical miles from the baseline of southern coastal states' shore, said. Vessels fall under the jurisdiction of the nationality of the state whose flag is entitled to fly. I smiled because I knew Storm was relaying, word for word, a page she had memorized from the book on maritime law. Therefore, since you do not operate under the sovereign authority of the United States, America, you have no jurisdictions over us on the high seas. Kindly leave our vessel. I felt like singing God Bless America, or at least chanting USA, USA. I am impressed with your knowledge of maritime law, said Constable Wilmot. However, I beg to differ with your calculations of our current position in relation to. Before he could finish, Beck whipped out her digital camera and took a snapshot. Young lady, sniffed the constable. This is hardly the time or place for. Check it out, said Beck, showing the camera's display window to the constable. It's a GPS camera. I joined in. According to a whole bunch of satellites that never lie, we are definitely in international waters. That shows them. That's them in international waters. A map of it. We are definitely in international waters, and you, Constable Wilmot, need to get off our boat. The RCIPS officer stared at the tiny screen, nodding grimly. He reached for his radio. Jenkins, belay my original orders. Only one to come aboard. He gave Storm a crisp salute off the brim of his cop cap. Well played, young lady. Storm saluted back. Enjoyed sparring with you, officer. The constable went back to his police boat, which turned tail and sailed back toward the Caymans. Meanwhile, on the deck of the Lost, we kids were locked in a Major League American-style group hug around Storm. The first things Tommy did when he returned to the helm was flip the silent switch on our IS transporter so nobody could track where we were headed. Always a wise move in pirate-infested waters. Or if your ship movements are closely monitored by the police from your last port of call, or maybe Louis. Let's face it, someone had sent the RCIPS boat after us. My money was our parents' so-called friend. I'd seen how Louis was drooling all over the treasure on display in the deckhouse. He must have figured out it was better loot. It was even better loot stashed somewhere down below. I'm going into the room, Storm announced. Why? Said Beck. Anything I see that looks super important. I'm going to temporarily stow in some of the secret compartments, just in case we have any more unexpected company. Storm went off to wherever she had last hidden the key. How much longer till we reach the dive site? Said Beck. Asked Beck. I guess estimate 12 hours, said Tommy. We'll be hauling gold bars out of a shipwreck before we know it, I cheered. But what if there's nothing down there, said Beck. What if we come up empty-handed? Yo, chill, Beck. Talk like that, you could jinx the dive. But I'm serious. We need to find this treasure or we're sunk. Whoa, bad choice of words, little sis. Just chillax. No matter what, we're gonna be golden. No matter what, we're gonna be golden. Promise, Tommy? Promise. Around 8 the next morning, we dropped anchor directly over the spot where the tiny treasure map was said we'd find one of the galleons from the lost Cordoba fleet. Thanks for the drawing of the giant X on the water, Beck. I always thought there should be one bobbing up and down in the waves when we reach a treasure site. Gear up, called Tommy. Beck, Storm, and I were already in our wetsuits. Storm, as always, would be staying in the boat. She never went on dives. She couldn't stand the feeling of snug and rubbery wetsuits. And besides, someone had to be on board in case of emergencies. We dipped our fins into the water to make them easier to pull on and hoisted the heavy air tanks over our shoulders. I yanked my straps tight across the chest and locked them down. I turned to the valve on my tank, jammed the regulator in my mouth, and snapped my mask into place. Dive, leader Tommy sliced into the water like a knife. Beck slipped in right behind him. I leaped off the deck and plunged into turquoise blue water. It was time to hunt for some treasures. Okay, bye guys. That's all we're going to be reading for today. See you guys tomorrow.